Good evening and welcome to McStabber Studios' special one-shot presentation of You Will Destroy Something Beautiful. I will be your facilitator for the evening. I am Relynn, also known as Mama McStabber in Twitch chat, and tonight I will be portraying the beautiful thing that these players have come to destroy. So destroyers, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Coyote Lewis.
Hello, I'm Will. You can find me at WillWillPlayer on Twitter.
And I'm Caleb. You can find me as Plaguewind over on the McStabber Discord.
Fantastic. All right, so, lady and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to start asking you some questions. You all have come here to destroy something beautiful. Will, tell me something about this place.
It is a very old 50s era junkyard, decrepit with a great deal of rust, and there's a torrential downpour, and we'll see quite a bit.
Okay, one thing, not five. So we're going to go with a very old junkyard.
Okay.
Okay. So who would like to go next and tell me one more thing about this junkyard?
I'll go. There's no way out of it. The exits are blocked by black, just inky blackness with purple colors shifting through it.
Okay. Making a note. I'm loving this already. Y'all are giving me so much ammo. All right. Coyote, what's another thing about this place?
I liked the torrential rain.
Torrential rain. Okay. Now, destroyers, I need one final descriptor about this place. And I will give you a little bit of a tip. Think about something that may basically correlate with where the beautiful thing is found within this place.
There's a glow in the middle of the junkyard, surrounded by junk.
A glow. Oh, nice. All right. We'll come back to describe the location after we figure out the beautiful thing and who you are. Now, tell me 4 things about the beautiful thing, and whomever would like to start first can go.
The beautiful thing stands out with its pristineness.
It is pristine. Okay. All right. Second thing?
Alternating pattern of porcelain and obsidian style stained glass
Okay.
features.
So it's a play on light and dark. Mm-hmm. Okay. What's the third thing about this beautiful thing?
The glow changes colors depending on its mood. Shifts colors.
Yeah, I like that. Now, does the glow come from the beautiful thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
That's kind of what I had in mind for it, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And one last thing about this beautiful thing. What is it?
Something figuring out. Anyone else wants to go?
Yeah, I'm stumped here a little bit.
You're stumped here? Okay, feel free to work together, and then we can all decide if that's an agreeable choice.
Alrighty.
So what we know so far is that it is pristine. That it has stained glass that alternates between light and dark pieces. I would imagine somewhat in like a mosaic type pattern. The glow that you see from entry into this junkyard that comes from the center of the junkyard is actually emanating from this beautiful thing. And it seems to change color.
Mosaic can emit like a glass figurine.
Do we agree? Or is there any other ideas? Based on what we've done so far.
Sounds pretty cool to me.
I like the figurine.
You like the figurine? So is the figurine something that is within a structure?
Ooh.
Or is it that this is the figurine, that it is made of the stained glass and emanates the glow and it is pristine? Or is the figurine inside of that?
Well, kind of like inside and it like walks out.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
I like that.
I was
Okay.
thinking that too.
Okay.
Oddly enough.
So how about we say that figurine is made of obsidian?
Okay.
Okay.
No complaints from that standpoint on my
So
end.
would that be possibly a guardian? If you think about it?
It could be.
Could
Yeah.
be. Or
Okay.
the other thing too, obsidian's really sharp. Like they use
Yeah.
it for surgical implements. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Obsidian figurine. Guardian. Comes out of fixture. Okay. Very good. Y'all, this is some spooky shit. All right. So, tell me, Destroyer, Coyote, why have you come here?
To try and recover the figurine from the Guardian.
To recover the figurine from the fixture. Okay. What has the beautiful thing done in your eyes to deserve destruction?
It's killed many of the people from my home who have also attempted to get the figurine.
Hmm. Hey, very good, very good. Why are you cruel?
My youngest sibling was the most recent to die to it.
Oh. Okay. And who are you?
I'm the scavenger.
Thank you, scavenger. Now, Will, why have you come here, Destroyer?
To try to find what was taken. All the technology from my town is no longer there because of this entity.
So is that what the beautiful thing has done? To deserve destruction? It stole your technology?
Yeah, everything. It's like back to the Stone Age functionally.
Okay. Okay. Why are you cruel?
Boy, it gets deep. It's a little too real a little bit. Let's see.
Funny how such a simple game can make you really go deep with it, huh?
Yeah. I blame myself for the fact that I couldn't do anything to stop it.
Okay. So that sense of helplessness led you to become very cruel. Got it. Who are you?
Kevin Sanguinetti.
And what does Kevin Sanguinetti do? What role does he serve?
He used to be a tow truck driver before all the stuff just didn't work anymore.
Okay, got you. Got you.
Just took all the stuff away. Out of a job at that point.
Yeah. So you are the unemployed. God, I love it. All right. So Kevin, the unemployed. Because this thing stole all the tech. Bitter. All right. Caleb, tell me, why have you come here, Destroyer?
I'm lost.
You're lost?
I woke up here.
Okay.
Don't know where I am.
All right. What has this beautiful thing done to deserve destruction, then?
It won't let me go.
Why are you cruel?
Do what I do to get home.
And who are you, Destroyer?
had many, many names over the years. Inhabited lots of funny people. I'll go by my favorite one, Nero.
And what do? You inhabit multiple people. What do you do with them?
I find other people.
So you're the seeker. Got it. Okay. Perfect. So, Scavenger, Kevin, the unemployed, and Nero, the seeker. You find yourself together in a very old junkyard. Why, it looks like it's straight out of the 50s, but it's very decrepit and decayed. Rust and twisted metal throughout the location. Exits from this junkyard are blocked by this cloud of inky blackness that shimmers with this purple tone, almost like an oil slick. There is a torrential rain pouring down upon you as you gaze across this terrible landscape. Makes you very uncomfortable. Your garments are drenched. Your hair is dripping in your face. You can barely see. However, amongst the dark, twisted material in front of you, you see through cracks a glow emanating from the center of the junkyard. And it seems to be shifting in colors. As you make your way towards this glow, you barely say anything to each other. All of you seem to have one thing in mind, and that is reaching the center to do what you must. Once you get there, the glow reveals, excuse me, a pristine fixture made of obsidian and other lighter, possibly crystal or glass, in a stained glass mosaic pattern. It is quite stunning. And the glow is emanating from that object. And as you get closer, the colors of the glow shift. What was flickers of gold, violet, green, has now gone red. It knows you are here, destroyers. And you see a figurine come out of this fixture, made of obsidian. It looks like a dog. Like a schnauzer. And it just, you're not sure how obsidian can do this. It just kind of cocks its head at you. And that's what you see when you come upon this beautiful thing. So, Scavenger, Kevin, Nero, which of you are going to attempt to destroy this beautiful thing first?
I'll take a shot at it.
Okay. And what are you going to do?
I draw a bow from my back, and I shoot an arrow towards the approximation of a head on this figure.
Okay, roll your d6 and let's see if you succeed.
3.
Yeah. You take your bow out, knock it, draw, and release. You know you lined up that shot. You've done this before. However, that figurine moved faster than you expected. It ran back inside, and your shot missed. You will need to remove one of your descriptors. Tell me which one and how you are diminished by it.
Going to remove that I wish to recover the figurine.
Okay, you no longer wish to bring the figurine back home. And how does that make you feel a bit diminished?
The people in my home need the money that we could get from selling the figurine.
So
I'm going to be failing them in bringing back aid.
You will be a disappointment. Yeah. All right. So while you ponder how much you are letting the people back home down, the next destroyer takes their shot. I will say that now the figurine is inside the fixture and seemingly protected. So who will go next?
I will.
Okay, what? Kevin, what are you going to do?
So there's a large 55-gallon drum of assorted parts, and I see a sub-container of broken starter fixtures from various lawnmowers, vehicles. And I take some of that broken ceramic shards into my hand and just chuck as much of it as I can at the entity.
Okay, and you are going to roll your d6 and see if you are successful in doing any damage.
All right. 5.
So, you hurl these pieces, this junk, at this fixture. And you actually throw it with all your might, all that anger. Because it took from you and your people. Was like gunpowder added to the cannon that was your arm. And when the junk came into contact, it scratches the stained glass of the fixture. The beautiful thing is no longer pristine. However, in picking up that junk, some of it was very sharp. You now have abrasions on your hand that make it a bit more challenging to repeat that action. Nero, it's your turn. You have seen the scavenger shoot an arrow at the little schnauzer figurine made of obsidian and miss. The figurine went back inside the object that is emanating this glow. You saw Kevin hurl a handful of junk at it, and the spray of that sharp and jagged material scratched up the surface of the beautiful thing. What are you going to do?
Nero looks around the junkyard, goes over to parts of a car, and with surprising ease picks up like the front bumper of it and just hurls it at the stained glass. Okay.
So you're going to throw this bumper that you've lifted up like it's a stick and toss it at this thing.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll your d6.
A 1.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, your swing with it goes wide as you go to release it. And you unfortunately hit the scavenger, who is standing there contemplating how much of a disappointment she's going to be to those at home. Scavenger, you are not mortally wounded in any way, but that hurt. This fucker can't fucking throw shit. Nero, you need to remove one of your descriptors for your failure.
So who he is. No idea what his name is.
He has lost his identity.
Lost identity. Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Yep. Okay, so he is no longer Nero the Seeker. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, first round. Not looking so good. 2 destroyers have already started losing pieces of themselves in this attempt. 1 destroyer was successful. The color emanating from the beautiful thing is now a deep, dark blue. It feels like it's winning. Who's going to try to destroy it now?
I'll take a second shot at it.
Okay.
We'll see. Seeing the masses of shards, broken elements, see a paint can, and it's filled with this murky, disgusting old paint. And I just throw it onto the fixture to try and hide the colors.
Very good. So, roll your d6.
Oh, 1.
Oh, honey. We're going to have to put that die in the timeout box.
That's more.
Okay, well, luckily in this game, there is no such thing as critical failures or critical successes. It's either succeed or fail. So, in this case, you sling that paint. And I think, honestly, that hit from that fucking bumper that goddamn asshole threw and hit you with really just messed up your shoulder. Because as you went to throw it, it ended up sloshing back on you instead of on the beautiful thing. So now you are soaking wet from the torrential rain and now completely disgustingly stained by this god-awful noxious paint. It smells too. Go ahead and remove one of your descriptors and tell me how it diminishes you.
I'm going to remove that my youngest sibling was the most recent death.
Okay. You have a sneaking suspicion that's not going to be the case for long.
Nope. My mortality is flashing before my eyes.
Yes, it is. All right, who's going next? You have seen the scavenger get hit by a fucking bumper and then try to throw a nasty-ass paint can at this object, obviously with a good idea to try to cover up the object so it can stop emanating its light, but failed and ended up covering herself with this nasty-ass paint. So who's going to go next to try to do something to the beautiful thing?
I guess Nero, after seeing that, once again, he looks around the junkyard. Something maybe not quite as big as a bumper this time. Goes like a bent up stop sign.
Okay.
And then almost like kind of like a frisbee throw, just like a heavy metal object that is a frisbee should hopefully do some type of damage. So
Okay, let's roll a d6 and see if it does.
different dice this time.
Yes.
There we go. 4.
Okay. Barely, but you succeeded. All right. So you throw this bent, kind of warped stop sign. It's not attached to the post it was on anymore. It actually has some tears in the metal in various places from where it got damaged. But you sling it like a frisbee, and it wobbles a bit in the air, but it actually makes contact. The light is still emanating from this fixture, however, it has lost its stained glass. It causes a cascade of shattering when it contacts, because a sharp edge of the sign pierced a piece. And it looks like spider webs going all over the fixture as the glass cracks and shatters. And then it starts raining down inside the fixture, like little sparkles of glitter. The light is still emanating, but you can't see what from, but you can see within the light the little fixture of the Schnauzer. So, this beautiful thing has lost its pristine the first round from being scratched up. That scratching probably did a little bit of damage to the actual glass itself, made it weaker so that actual impact would cause destruction. And it has lost the stained glass. However, there is still a glow and an obsidian figurine. Very good. Now, Kevin, are you going to make an attempt?
Yep.
What are you going to do?
Considering that as he's flexing his hand and there's noticeable spark plug shards in the right hand, he will then ironically look over and find a smaller scale towing chain, sort of candy cane shaped hook for hooking into the bumper. And so he'll sort of get some momentum swinging this chain and sort of go for the legs as he swings it around to try to
okay, so basically you're trying to get a hook into the figurine if you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just sort of more that I'm holding the hook and the chain is what I'm trying to get it to wrap.
You're trying to get the chain wrapped around it. Okay, got you. So
a little bludgeoning and then
yeah. Knock it around a little bit and wrap around it. I got you. Roll your d6. Let's see if we're going to get this done. 4. You succeed. It is painful to you. Painful. Because to swing with enough force, you're having to use your injured hand. However, once you get enough force and momentum with this chain, you are actually able to launch it at the figurine. It hits the figurine, but it doesn't wrap around it. Obsidian is sharp, but it is incredibly brittle. That blunt force of that chain destroys the figurine. However, there is still a glow coming from where the fixture and figurine was, and it has now gone black, but it's still glowing. And you have further driven those bits and pieces in your abraded hand to the point that you can no longer bend that hand. So, excellent, destroyers. The beautiful thing has lost its figurine, its guardian. Or perhaps what the fixture was actually protecting itself. Maybe it was a symbiotic type of existence. It has one thing left, destroyers, the glow itself. Consider for a moment how you are going to attempt to destroy emotion. Because that's what that is. When you feel you are ready to launch an attack, let me know.
I have an idea.
Okay, Nero, what is your idea?
He wants to find some type of can or some type of container that can hold something. He walks over to the entrance where that like inky blackness, purple mist is. Tries to collect some of it in this container and then throw it at the stained glass.
Or at the fixture, the light emanating?
The glow, yeah. It's like a container full of that like inky blackness.
Yeah, sure. So let's roll a d6 and see if you are successful in collecting this blackness to launch at the glow.
A 6. It's the dice that rolled a 1 before.
You know, sometimes it just needs a break. Dice are fickle like that. All right, so all of you here, except Nero, see as he walks back to the closest entrance with this can. Actually, it looks like the paint can that the scavenger tried to launch, it being now empty. He goes to the oil slick looking cloud of darkness blocking the way. And actually, you don't know how he did it. It's like he commanded it to enter this can. And it did. And in doing so, an exit is now clear. And after he got this blackness in this can, he walks a little bit closer to be within range of the glow. Actually, he walks practically right up to it and dumps the can out over this glow. And the center of the junkyard goes dark. Ugly, black, and purple. The blackness now takes over the center of the junkyard. The beautiful thing has been destroyed. However, you have one route of escape, and the junkyard is starting to collapse in on itself. You must hurry to get out in one piece. This place is about to become very treacherous. Congratulations, destroyers, you have destroyed the beautiful thing. So, you all survived. Fantastic.
Very early on with the damage incoming. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of these things that, it really is. It's up to the die rolls, but I will say that if you get enough successes within the first few rounds, you will all survive it. If you end up with a lot of failures in the first few rounds, some of you will become enthralled. I've noticed that pattern.
Mm-hmm. Death spiral.
Yeah.
One factor.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go around the table. Tell me, Scavenger, what of you remains intact?
I still have my name of Scavenger.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this entity in the junkyard had killed many from my home. But I wasn't able to recover it. And I forgot about how my youngest sibling was the last to fall to it.
Mm-hmm. Was it worth it?
No.
Kevin, what of you remains intact?
His remaining self-esteem, his resolve, and his hope.
Okay. Was it worth it to you to destroy this beautiful thing?
At the cost of physical health with severe injuries to his hand, overall, it's a fair trade-off.
Okay.
Can rebuild.
Mm-hmm. And Nero, you lost your identity.
Yep.
You don't know who you are anymore. Everything else remains intact.
Able to get home.
Very good. Was it worth it to you?
Nope. Beautiful thing tamed the devil.
Yeah. Excellent.
Doesn't know why anymore.
That was a fantastic session. Thank you all so much for playing. We are going to take a 10-minute break, maybe possibly even just a 5-minute break on stream. For us here, it'll be like 10 minutes, but that's the magic of pre-recording. We can take as long of a break as we need while you guys just have to sit for a few minutes and wait for us to come back. We will be playing another session where these players will decide they are going to play different destroyers and come up with a new beautiful thing in a new location, and we will see what they come up with next and if they succeed in destroying something beautiful. So we will see you in just a few minutes. Y'all have a great break and get yourself something to eat, maybe something to drink, some snacks, or get yourself a bio break. Be right back, guys. and welcome back to our special presentation of You Will Destroy Something Beautiful. So, it is time for us to start a new round with me playing the beautiful thing in some location that these players decide collaboratively. And these players are going to be playing new destroyers. So, you have come here to this place to destroy something beautiful. Tell me 4 things about this place.
It's a military installation where it is used to simulate a desert environment. So it's a large warehouse, has sand on the ground, but large, brightly red, basically heating lamps to simulate the heat of a desert environment in the summer.
Okay, so what I've put from that, because you tend to offer me a few more than one descriptors, that's okay. I appreciate that creativity. I do. I put down that it's a military warehouse that is used for desert environment simulation. Now, destroyers, give me more things to flesh this place out.
There are, in the desert part, there are cactuses that have skulls on them that wherever you walk, they slowly turn and follow.
Oh, interesting. So there are cactuses with skulls on them that watch you.
Yep.
Okay. What's something else, Coyote, about this place?
The cactuses, as they turn, also make low whispers as you pass in a tongue that no one can understand.
Ooh. So whispers in an unknown tongue come from these cactuses. I like it. That's eerie. All right, what's one more thing about this place? And if someone comes up with an idea, we must all agree that it is a good idea. So what we have so far, to make sure it flows. It's a military warehouse used for desert environment simulation. There are cactuses in this simulation area with skulls that watch you as you move about the facility. You also, as you get near the cactuses, hear whispers in some unknown tongue that you just can't understand, and it makes your skin crawl. What's one more thing about this place?
This is a military base, maybe like a bunker or like one of those big troop trucks at one end of it.
Okay. Now, does everyone agree that there is a military vehicle within this location?
I was kind of thinking maybe a out-of-place oasis in it.
Oh.
That's shimmering and beautiful, with beautiful fruit hanging from the trees and everything like that.
Y'all like that?
I do like that, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I like it.
Yeah, okay. So that's... Make a note of that. Okay, so there is a... oasis with very alluring water and fruit that seems out of place. Perfect. Okay, so this environment is a military warehouse that you know is used for desert environment simulation. There is multiple cactuses around the simulation area that have skulls on them. The skulls seem to be from various animals. Why you think there is a coyote skull? You think there is a bison skull? You think there is a wolf skull? And others on these cactuses. And they seem to watch you as you walk near and about this area. And as you get close to the cactuses, you hear whispers in some unknown tongue that seems sinister, makes your skin crawl. But you notice an oasis within this environment, with shimmering and very alluring water and beautiful fruit, but all of that seems very out of place. Because this seems like a dangerous area, and that doesn't seem dangerous. So, tell me 4 things about the beautiful thing. I think Coyote needs to start this because she set up the oasis, which is obviously the location of the beautiful thing.
The water, along with its shimmering beauty, also smells clean and makes you think of home.
Okay, so are we saying that the water within the oasis is the beautiful thing? Yeah?
I kind of dig it.
Okay.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the water within the oasis is the beautiful thing. Now, considering that, and Coyote has already given you the water within with its shimmering beauty, also smells clean and reminds you of home. So, tell me something else about this beautiful thing.
Upon further inspection, if you look closely at the base of this body of water, there's numerous almost golf ball sized pearls of varying shades.
Okay. Okay, so the water is beautiful and smells clean and reminds you of home. and if you peer down into its depths, you see golf ball-sized pearls of different, varying, shimmering shades. So tell me something else about this beautiful thing.
There is a full-size mirror that where it's placed reflects the water and acts almost like a portal as you like people walk out of the mirror and the pool is right there.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so there is a mirror portal. That leads people to the water. Okay. That's good. That's a good setup for something very sinister. Okay. So tell me one last thing about this beautiful thing, and if you have an idea that will tie in the wonderful smell and appearance of this water, the pearls within its depths, and this mirror portal that leads people to it, go ahead and speak it out, and we will discuss and see if we all agree, or if perhaps we come up with something a little better.
Just spitball a little bit. It sounded like it's the incarnation of extreme nostalgia. Like if you're caught too much in the past, how are you going to move in the present or the future? That's my spitball. We don't have to go with that. Like almost there's a radius of this. If you're
like a sense of nostalgia, like you get close to it, and it's a feeling.
Yeah, and you just sort of
you basically become, but you kind of get distracted by thoughts of reminiscing.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a good defense mechanism for this beautiful thing. A distraction technique.
Like a Venus flytrap.
It's like a Venus flytrap. It distracts you and then lures you in.
There's water, there's shinies, there's,
all these beautiful distractions, and then it makes you start getting nostalgic on top of it, and you're just going to get lost in your own head, and the next thing you know, you're sucked into the water.
Or you become a cactus.
Or you become a cactus.
So many possibilities.
Yes. Okay, do we all agree that that is a good idea to have that kind of distraction technique for the beautiful thing, that it makes you feel nostalgic and get lost in your memories and thoughts? Okay, I like that. I like that. Give me a second to write that down. Okay, very good. So we now have a location and the beautiful thing. This time I'm going to start from right and work my way left. Caleb, tell me, why have you come here, Destroyer?
I've come here to reclaim my wife.
To reclaim your wife?
She was lost here.
Okay.
Or taken here.
Okay. So you have come to reclaim your wife because she was taken here and never returned.
Yeah, I guess find is a better word than, yeah.
Find? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will edit that for find. All right, so you've come here to find your wife. Very good. Now, what has this beautiful thing done in your eyes to deserve destruction?
Taking the one thing that's kept me sane.
Okay. Why are you cruel?
because without her, I'm self-destructive.
Okay. And last question. Who are you?
A nobody, trying to get by in life, trying not to fall by the wayside.
Okay. And do you have a name?
Let's go. I was going to use my name, but maybe not. Let's go with Joshua.
Joshua? Okay. Perfect. All right. Will, why have you come here, Destroyer?
Pearls can only be found here.
Okay. What has this beautiful thing done to deserve destruction?
Bones that remain in the pool become the pearls.
I was totally thinking that. All right. Why are you cruel?
The ends justify the means. My goal is to
Is it greed?
get me. Just
Okay.
greed.
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 Got you. You want these damn pearls. Mm-hmm. I got you. All right. Who are you?
Robin Steele, a pearl diver.
And these are the most valuable pearls in the world. All right. Coyote. Why have you come here, Destroyer?
A need to solve the mystery of the strangeness here.
Okay. What has this beautiful thing done in your eyes to deserve destruction?
If I can't have the knowledge of it, then no one can.
Very good. Why are you cruel?
I've been alone too long in the search for the knowledge.
Last question. Who are you?
The investigator.
You've been isolated for a long time. Do you even still have a name anymore?
No.
Okay.
If people see me, they just know that
That you're the investigator. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Very good. All right. So we now have our location. A military warehouse where they do desert simulation training. Or at least used to. There are cactuses in this environment that have skulls on them. The ones you see seem to be animals, but you're pretty sure there might be other skulls on other cactuses. Possibly human. As you get close to these cactuses, actually before you even get close, as soon as you enter the facility, the ones closest to you start to watch you as you move. And when you get close to the cactuses, you hear whispering. It seems dark, sinister, but it's in some tongue that you don't understand. And as you traverse the sand in this environment towards this beautiful shimmering oasis that has beautiful trees and a lovely pool of water and seemingly perfectly ripe fruit, you approach the pool of water. The reflective surface glimmers and shines, and it smells so clean. Makes you think of home. Peering into its depths, you see the most beautiful, large, golf ball-sized pearls in varying colors. And as you gaze around the oasis, you see a mirror at the end of the pool that shimmers and reflects the water. But you know it's a portal that leads people here. And the longer you observe this object, this not even really an object, this diorama of an oasis, of perfection, of beauty, you start to feel very nostalgic, thinking on your past, the blessings, the mistakes, the wins and losses of your life. But you destroyers have come here with a purpose. Some of you have come for greed. You want what this oasis offers. Tempts people with, may not truly offer. What it tempts people with, you want it for yourself. Or this thing has taken something from you, something important, and you want it back. Or you just want to figure out what the mystery of this place is, why it does what it does. That curiosity is just driving you. That desire to know more, it's driven you for so long that you don't even have a name anymore. So, destroyers, which one of you will go first in attempting to do something to this beautiful thing?
I think that I would have brought in preparation sort of a large bug net, considering how large these things are. Starts to wonder whether or not, because obviously no one else has taken the pearls, maybe if all the pearls are taken, that could damage it. So he starts.
So you're going to try to scoop out the pearls.
Mhm.
Okay. So you get your rigging up and basically get your gear and set it up for your collection of pearls. You being a pearl diver, you know how to collect these things. But these are not like other pearls that you've dove for. You see, when you dive for pearls, you're diving for the creatures that make pearls. But in this case, there is no creatures in this water. You know how these pearls are made. You and you alone. And there is a pile of them. And they're about the size of golf balls. So you take out this large net. Looks like a bug net. And go basically fishing in the water. Roll your d6 and let's see if you're successful.
3. Fail.
That is a fail. So, you get your net in the water. And you are actually collecting. You drag it around. It's almost like a pool skimming net that you're using here. At least that technique you're using to collect these pearls on the bottom of this oasis pool. And it's funny, the pearls seem to be drawn into your net at a very rapid rate. So much so that the weight of the net becomes so heavy. The pole that the net is on snaps, and the net itself, the mesh, tears. The pearls do not come out of the water. Remove one of your descriptors.
Say, remove the pride. I mean, this is literally all he does, you know. So he's in a little spiral right now of, you know, he's
feeling like a failure. It's like, this is what I do. Why isn't this working? So we're going to remove it. Well, you had more of a greed motivation. So are we removing that motivation, or are we removing?
I'm thinking like the greed is still there. It's just sort of the pride. It's sort of.
So let's start with your first descriptor about the pearls can only be found here, because that was kind of more of that pride driver. Like, these are the most valuable pearls. I'm going to go get them because they can only be found here. Okay, so we'll remove that one.
Makes sense. Okay.
Okay. That's how this game plays. It's collaborative. All right. So, next destroyer, who's going to try to do something to this environment, this object, this beautiful thing.
As I walk into the area of the oasis, I run my hand along one of the trees to test to see if it's solid and its permanence in the world. And as my hand leaves it, I pull out a matchbook and I start the foliage on fire.
Okay, roll a d6.
Hey, a 5!
You light the foliage of these trees. They felt solid to you. Truly, they felt solid to you. But you light the foliage with your match. And it goes up like dried out paper. The trees engulf in flames. And the smell of burning paper. But there's a putridness to it. Almost as if it might have been glazed with something. A sealant of some sort. Almost smells like pork. Burning. You can no longer smell the clean smell of the water that reminds you of home, because this scent permeates the oasis. But now y'all are dealing with a very pungent and putrid smell, so this is making you a bit nauseous.
Sorry about that.
Little nausea is always good.
Layers of defensive mechanisms. It's all coming together.
Okay, so the beautiful thing has lost its lovely smell. Who's going next?
Joshua will go.
Okay.
He walks up to the mirror because one of the last things he heard his wife say was gazing into the abyss through a mirror. He just looks at this mirror and his hands clench. He came semi-armed because you figured he was hunting or fun. He just lifts up this bat he walked in with, just stares at this mirror, just says, "Fuck you," and tries to smash the mirror with the bat.
Okay, let's roll your d6 and see if you actually break it.
A 2.
You swing at the bat. I'm sorry, not at the bat. You swing at the mirror with your bat. And it makes, when you connect to it, it makes this resounding like gong sound. And your bat is bounced right off the surface of the mirror with a force that causes it to rear back at you. that fucking rebound on it is intense. Okay. And that bat clocks you right in the head.
Oh.
That's gonna leave a lump. So go ahead and remove one of your descriptors.
Oh, why I'm here. Okay.
Why you're here? Okay,
Yep.
so you now don't remember that you're here to
That I'm
find
here
your
to
wife.
find my wife. Yep. A lump on the head will do.
Yeah.
Good old
Head
concussion.
injury. Great. All right. So, the investigator successfully burned the trees. But now, the result of that is that there's this horrible, pungent, disgusting smell throughout the oasis. It makes you want to retch. It smells like burning flesh. The pearl diver tried to use a net to get out some pearls and completely lost his net. Might have lost a bit of pride in that too. And the man, just looking for his wife, tried to destroy the mirror, the portal that brought his wife here. And in failing to do so, ended up with a head injury that made him forget that he was here for his wife. We are off to a fantastic start, guys. All right, who's going next?
Let's see. So I'm assuming the net is gone functionally, right?
Yeah, that is functionally gone. That was the consequence.
Do I have like a shard of like the handle of the net?
You still have the handle in your hand. The handle snapped. It's a partial handle. It's not as long as it was, but it is very sharp.
I'm thinking he's going to go to one of the cacti and start defacing it, trying to get rid of probably the bison skull off the top of the cacti and see if that will have any sort of effect.
Okay. So, roll your d6 and see if it does anything.
4.
Okay. So, you walk to, it's actually a cactus that is right on the edge of the oasis itself, right near the water. Has a bison skull on it. And you use this broken wooden pole. It's very sharp, jagged on the edge where it snapped. And scratch at the cactus. As you do so, the whispers get louder and louder, almost like a droning, like a chanting. And you do dislodge the skull from it. But when you do, it doesn't just fall straight down. It makes a roar like you've never heard of any animal, and proceeds to roll. You didn't realize there was a slope here. Proceeds to roll into the oasis. And when it does, the pearls turn to dust. Now there is just a skull in the water. But you knowing how the pearls are made, you think to yourself, this will probably make a really big fucking pearl. Because, you're a little delusional.
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay, so now there are no more pearls in the water. There is now a bison skull in the water. And you might see a few other bones in the water, too. So who's going next?
I got something.
Okay, go for it.
So I'll say after the bat hit him in the head, kind of fell down, gets up, shakes himself off, stares at the mirror, looks at the bat, throws the bat down, walks up to the mirror, grabs it, and tries to just knock it over and shatter it.
Okay, so let's roll a d6 and see if you succeed. You are really hyper-focused on this mirror. This mirror did you some harm.
Another 2.
Okay. This time, refresh my memory, did you use the bat to try to knock it over?
No, I threw the bat down. I tried to just grab the
Just
mirror
grab
and knock
it
it
and
down.
knock it down? Okay. You have a 2. You are not successful in this attempt to destroy this mirror. You try to knock it down, but your balance is off. You are leaned up against it, shoving at it, and you feel woozy. And not only that, you're feeling a little discombobulated. You're starting to have memories of your past flashing through your mind, and you're very disoriented. And your grip slips and you fall. The impact on the hard ground. There's sand on the ground, but underneath it, it is very hard. Ends up causing some pain in your hip when you impact. Not enough to break anything, but certainly you will have a bit of a limp and won't be as fast as you used to be. Remove one of your descriptors and tell me how it diminishes you.
It's the why are you cruel?
Okay.
What did I choose? Oh, that I was self-destructive
Mm-hmm.
without her.
Okay.
Um,
So you are no longer self-destructive without her. You will end up being self-destructive even with her if you find her.
ooh,
Mm-hmm.
this would be a great reunion.
But you haven't seen sight of her yet.
True.
She might have been one of the pearls there that got destroyed by the other guy.
Probably.
All right. Coyote, what are you going to do?
Could you remind me what descriptors we have left for it?
For the beautiful thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Hang on. Let me find my sheet. Okay, so we still have the mirror portal at the end of the oasis. And we also have its defense mechanism that it makes you feel a sense of nostalgia and you get lost in your thoughts and memories.
Okay. So I pull from a pack on my back a large battery, and I start throwing some current, like little diodes, into the water. And I start also from my pack a large container of salt. And I throw that into the water as well and flip on the battery.
Okay, so you are going to try to basically electrocute it.
Electrolysis, yes.
Electrolysis, yes. All right, roll your d6.
A 4.
Okay, so you know how this is supposed to work. You're a very knowledgeable woman. You've done your research, you've done your investigation. You are brilliant. And you set up your battery and pour this large quantity of salt in the water. And put the diodes in the water and turn on the juice. You know what's supposed to happen. But that isn't what happens. What does happen is the water instantly evaporates. And those feelings you had, those tinglings in the back of your head, trying to get you to remember who you were, who you used to be, before you became so focused on finding answers. That's gone. You have successfully destroyed the defense mechanism of this beautiful thing. There now stands a mirror portal. However, with the evaporation of the water and everything in it, it also damages your setup that you used. It is now useless to you. Very good. So now, the gentleman who was seeking his wife is no longer feeling that overwhelming nostalgia and disorientation from that. He does have a head wound, though. It's making him a bit absent-minded and forgetful, but it's not making him nostalgic anymore. So his head is a little bit clearer now. He's able to focus a little better. Very good. Excellent second round or third round, whichever one we're on now. All right. So we have one thing left. A portal. This poor guy looking for his wife has tried to take it out twice and failed. And y'all are seeing he's not looking so hot. He's laid out on the ground. He's moaning because his hip hurts. Got this big old lump that's bruising up on his head. What are y'all going to do?
Sort of scouring the area, I'm able to find on the outskirts of the buildings sort of a large, almost armored briefcase. I flip it open and I find an exotic sort of flare pistol, and I turn the cartridges, the ammo in it, and it says thermate, and I start looking at the structural beams of this warehouse and just sort of analyzing it. I find one sort of central beam that's sort of holding everything else together. I fire this thermate flare gun at it in the effort to try to damage that beam.
Okay, so you're trying to bring the building down on top of this portal. I get you. I get you.
No more pearls.
You know what? There's nothing here for you to find anymore. You're like, fuck it. I can't get mine. Y'all fucked. I see what you're doing there, Will. You are devious. I love it. Now, go ahead and roll your D6 and let's see if you pull it off.
Right, I do need to roll to see if it works.
Yeah, you do. Right. It's a brilliant idea.
5, yeah.
Okay. You know, there's something really weird about this whole goddamn place. When it gets into contact with fire, bad shit happens. Really bad shit happens. You fire this thermite-loaded hand cannon, basically, into this beam. You would think that a military warehouse would be made of steel, aluminum, various metals. At least that's what it looked like. Instead, the entire place quickly ignites. And the smell is absolutely rancid. The smoke is thick and black and oily. The mirror also ignites. And as it does, this thick, oily, black smoke that smells so bad also comes from it as it crumbles and disintegrates. All the cactuses go up the same way. And if you don't get out soon, you will go up the same way. I would like for all of you to roll your d6 and tell me if you are able to get out successfully. Because you have now destroyed the beautiful thing.
1.
1.
I got a 4 on that one.
Wow. That is
When I succeeded.
Oh, man.
Well.
And here's where we are going to end our game. I am going to say, Coyote, did you actually lose anything of yourself?
I did not.
You were intact, but because of your location, you were not able to get out in time. Was it worth it? I didn't hear you.
Sorry about that. Yes, it was.
It was. It was still worth it. You were willing to die for what you learned. Okay. Robin, the Pearl Diver. You came in due to pride and greed. You were going to make a killing on these goddamn pearls. And when you couldn't have it, nobody else could have anything from this place either. I would say, what have you survived, but we know you didn't get out. Was it worth it?
I think in his warped, fucked up mind, yes, from the standpoint of with the ends justify the means. If the goal changes,
yeah,
the methods change.
So still willing to basically say, all right, fuck it, I'm done.
But I will say he was probably not expecting, he was thinking that one beam, it'll just start collapsing or,
Oh, no. This whole thing was made of the people it had lured in.
Yeah. So I think there was a real, oh, fuck moment for him. He was like,
I gave you that hint with the trees. They weren't actually trees. It was made from basically paper and flesh. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
In his mind, he's probably, this is worth it until
he basically dies. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
that's all right. First, you're going to have smoke inhalation and you're going to pass out. It'll be fine. You won't feel a thing. But yeah.
The guy with the limp is who got out.
The guy with the limp and the head lump is getting out. He's like, fuck this, I'm out. So, tell me, the poor lost husband who was trying to find his wife, what have you survived?
His identity is intact.
Mm-hmm.
He knows, what did I write down? The beautiful thing done. He still knows his wife was taken, but now he doesn't know where. And losing the self-destructive thing, while short-term,
he still has it. He's basically going to be self-destructive with or without her.
Yeah. So does he think it was worth it? Probably yes, but long-term view, no.
No. Yeah, you guys, y'all were freaking brilliant. This was freaking fun. Oh my God.
A lot of awesome system. It's amazing how much you can do with
exactly
a really simple system.
Yeah, it is so simple in its mechanics that it leaves you all the room in the world to really just flex and explore and create and just do whatever. Yeah, I love it. It's a great little palate cleanser system. It's a great little icebreaker system if you're playing it with people in person or on Zoom or something. It's very short games. As you see, we basically played roughly 40 to 50-minute sessions, and it's a brilliant little game. I will say probably the sweet spot is about 2 players if you are playing this, running this yourselves. I offer it to 3 for streaming because a lot of people want to play games with us here at McStabber Studios, so I want to give as many as I can. The game itself is set up for a facilitator, a GM, and 1 to 3 players. I think 1 player, it would be way too short. But I think 2 is actually the sweet spot. That seems to be the best balance between what if the beautiful thing will be destroyed or the destroyers will be destroyed. But with 3, it tends to lean. I have noticed in the 4 sessions I've played with 2 groups that it leans towards the destroyers surviving. But that's okay. I don't mind the destroyers surviving. Y'all got to win, even if some of y'all died because you couldn't get out. But, you accomplished the goal. Yay!
I did destroy the pearls. Hey! No one else is having them.
You destroyed the beautiful thing. Hey, it may not have gone how you planned, but you still did it.
It's a win in my book.
Take our wins where we can. All right. So thank you all so much for joining us for this great little game. And honestly, thank you to my players for playing this game. I know, most people haven't heard of this system. It's a small independent game that's available on itch.io. I have posted it on Discord. I will post it again if you wish to run it yourself. It's a very cheap little game. It's 200 words, super simple. Anybody can run it and play it for real. It just requires collaborative, storytelling together. And it's a great little game to exercise that and really flex those skills a bit. If you feel like you need some practice with that, this is a great game for that. And then it has very simple combat. Roll a d6 and see if you either hit or fail. And it's very simple. So join us on Discord, where you will see the link for this game and also see other games and community rooms that we have available in Discord. We actually cast our games from our Discord. So if you want to play in games with us, join us there. Seriously, become part of our community there. We have a wonderful family of people there that are just amazing people. We all love TTRPGs. We love talking about anything and everything under the sun. We're a friendly group. Come join us there. If you like what we're doing here at McStabber Studios, give us a follow here on Twitch. If you really like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. You can get a free subscription every month with your Amazon Prime if you have that. You might consider giving that to us. If you enjoy this amazing stories that these players have crafted, consider giving a donation or donate some bits, because we do give donations and bits to our players in our streams here at McStabber Studios. The studio does not take those. We distribute those amongst our players. Speaking of sharing love, like we do with bits and donations to our players, check out our friends. Our friends do some amazing content on Twitch with TTRPGs. Go check them out. Seriously, they're awesome. Give them some follows. Give them some love from the McStabber community. We love those guys. Give them a follow. Then also, we have merch available in our Zazzle shop. Not for this game. This game is just a little special one-shot. But we have merch for Windy City. We have merch, which is our Vampire V5 game. We have merch for London Esoteric Society, which is our Call of Cthulhu game. I'm hoping we can get some werewolf merch at some point.
Detail check.
Speaking of which, this guy is in werewolf.
He likes doing seatbelt checks.
Seatbelt check. And with that, coming up over the next week, we have actually, today is August 4th that this is streaming. On Saturday the 7th at 3 p.m. Eastern, we have our London Esoteric Society Call of Cthulhu 7E stream. It is set in Victorian London, and that game is run by our amazing European GM, Tiss. She is running a very insanity-inducing, cult-centric Victorian London Call of Cthulhu game. It is crazy, absolutely crazy, but in the best way possible. You really should check it out. We got cultists of like Dagon and shit up in there. It's really bad. Talking about elder gods and shit is bad. So that's at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the 8th, is actually going to be the Season 3 finale, Episode 10 of Windy City After Dark, our Vampire the Masquerade V5 game set in Chicago. 5 p.m. Eastern. Y'all, seriously, if you've been following Season 3 of Windy City, you know this has been our Empire Strikes Back season. There has been no relief from tension. The tension has been ratcheted and ratcheted and ratcheted and ratcheted and ratcheted up until our final conclusion. We haven't recorded it yet. I'm not sure exactly anything that's going to go on, but even if I did, I wouldn't spoil it anyway. Sorry. But that will be at 5 p.m. Eastern. You do not want to miss it. I know it's going to be a stunning conclusion to the season. We will be back for Season 4, but that's the finale for Season 3. And you don't want to miss it. And then on Tuesday, the 10th, we have Werewolf the Apocalypse. Phoenix's Call with Caleb. Plaguewin on Discord. And others. It's an amazing cast. The game is run by Ravenna. She is amazing. She tells amazing werewolf stories. There have been trouser snakes. There have been freaking seatbelt checks. I mean, there has been basically sleepwalking that might be sleep murdering. And, you know, it's craziness. It's craziness up in this joint. It's set in 1996 Cody, Wyoming. And it's amazing. You want to check that out at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. So Thank you so much for joining us for this, and take care of yourselves, guys. Seriously, mental health is important. Look out for yourselves, look out for those around you. Take care of yourselves. Reach out. Your friends and family and loved ones might need to hear your voice to pull them through a dark moment. So reach out. And if you feel like you are struggling, we have some links and numbers in our chat right now where you can go get the help you need if you are in crisis, whether it's regarding a variety of potential triggers for crisis. We have a variety of numbers available. There is even a website link that we are posting right now in chat that will lead you to a site that you can look up helplines in other countries, so that if you are outside of the US, you can get access to the help you need. And one last thing I like to close with, because I, Mama McStabber, Relynn, am the nicest mean nurse you'll ever meet. I'm going to tell you to take care of yourself, not just mentally, but physically too. Because we can't take care of others if we don't take care of ourselves. Go get your COVID vaccine. Nearly all COVID deaths now are unvaccinated people. Go get your vaccine. We want you around for a long time because we love our community. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a good night.